kicked it off with money. It's the WWE Championship match. I refuse to call it undisputed because it's very, very disputed. But it's the WWE Championship match. It's Cody Rhodes and it's Gunther. And about 5 minutes into this match, see if you agree. My wife looks over at me. We're 5 minutes in. My wife looks over at me and goes, ugh. It's a Cody match. It's not a Gunther match. Cody's calling this bitch. And I get it. He's the champion. All right. He's the one making the money. He's one of the ones that drew the house. All right. I understand. But we're in Europe. We're in Italy. We're in the country that neighbors Austria, this man's home country. These people came to see some Gunther. And more importantly, they came to see a Gunther style match. We did not get that here. Cody, the drawn out, Cody is so paced. Everything is just, it's very, I mean, every now and then he'll look at the audience and he does, like every now and then you get a little something out of him, but it's IKEA, man. It's plug and play. It's this move into this move into this move. It's the opposite of the AEW effect, where everything goes at 100 miles an hour. You're watching this man, okay, and then the weird finish at the end with the foot under the rope. Which I have to ask the question: if you're watching this now on YouTube, of course, youtube.com/@OUM Network. How many of you out there actually know that that's a rule? Because I know that people know that grabbing the rope can cause a break of a submission hold or a pin. But how many of you actually know that a foot, a hand, any piece of your body simply being under the rope is a cause for a cease of the count and a break? Did anybody? I don't think
I thought it was a botch at one point. And then they explained it. Well, shout out to the commentary, because when it happened, they started to harp on that as like, oh, his feet was past the ropes, so it should have been. And I kind of took their word for it and was like, oh, okay, didn't know that, and just moved past. But no,
very true.
Did not know that at all. Actually, I was confused when it happened until he said it.
I feel like a lot of people were confused. Because, yes, that is a rule. It has been a rule for a very long time. And it's just never really done a whole lot. And I understand. But the problem with finishes like that is that when you have a finish like that and you don't have a pre-existing example, it's a very difficult sell. When it happens in the moment, it causes confusion. When you explain it after the fact, people might understand that. Oh, I get it. You don't want anybody getting injured by being in that position. It makes sense. I get why it's a rule. But because you had to explain it after, you lose the emotion of the during. Because if you know the rule, then you understand why, for whatever reason, when the referee is making his count, the camera shot is also in an angle where you can still see the foot. It's not a straight-on shot. They're not hard canning.
Yeah, and you can also tell from that shot, as I noticed this too, you almost get the ref's perspective.
Yes.
The ref can't see that. You can't see the ref at all from the angle where the foot is. So there's no fucking way he saw. So it was good. I'm glad you pointed out. That was really good positioning on all three of their parts to really depict that.
Everybody. Cody's in the right spot. Gunther's in the right spot. Referee's in the right spot. Cameraman's in the right spot. And then, as if that's not perfect enough, the chef's kiss on the finish is Cody has the leg. They count 1,
and he swings
2, and then he swings. So on 3, the leg's not under the rope. So now you have your controversy, because the rule states that as soon as any body part is under the rope, that is an immediate termination of the count. Not at 3, meaning if you're underneath the rope for 1 and 2, and you just happen to pull off on 3, it's that does not change the rule at all. It has to break, but it causes an argument because what happens now is that now it gives them an out.
Part of the
Now,
genius too. It's a little bit more believable if majority of the people who are watching don't know. They don't know what side to take at this point. Now we have an actual argument. So that I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but there's a little genius in it. There's a little
and the fact that it was unsuspecting.
Correct. My ignorance plays into it, right? Because, like you said, let's say me and you are arguing it, right? And let's say I'm like, well, that's stupid. He's not touching the rope. You're like, well, it's the rule, right? I'm like, no one does that. Like, we're having the argument that you were depicting, right? I'm the guy who doesn't know. You're the guy who does know. So now, in that argument, like if a bunch of people are having that argument or just the world is seeing this, that's the argument, right? Some people are like, well, that's a dumb rule. We don't, like you said, there's not a lot of examples of it. This, who does that anymore is probably a dated rule. Gunther's arguing, this is an actual rule. This is what happened. I deserve my shot. You know what I mean? Like it creates this argument. The ignorance, I think, is an ingredient in that. Not to say that anything you're saying is incorrect. I'm just saying as we talk it out, the genius of it kind of starts to expose itself where the ignorance is kind of part of it because I'm sitting on the opposite side of that and I can see that. I'm like, all right, what the fuck, who cares? You know what I mean? I was just as confused when it happened too.
I think it comes down to what it is you want to gain from the action, right? Because there's two ways. You can come up with a scenario where the situation arises and now the fans have an idea of what that looks like. So that way, when you do it on a bigger stage, you can get a reaction in the moment. Or you can do what happened, which was you never talked about it. You never did it before. Well, I don't want to say never did it before. They've done it before. It's just been a really long time since they've done it. And like you said, a lot of people don't know that that's the rule. So now, not only are you having a conversation after the fact about the rule itself, now you're having a conversation about how that rule will affect the outcome, the validity of the actual outcome of the match. So it really comes down to me, what do you want? Do you want that raw emotion at the moment of the fans going, whoa, 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 foot under the rope, foot under the rope? You do that finish at a GCW show or an MLW show where the smart marks are and all that stuff, you're going to find a bunch of people who are going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. But then if you do it in the WWE universe, you'll have confusion followed by, oh, I didn't know that. So it depends on what you want.
I argue you get both. We have both right here.
I think both is what happened, but I think the majority of the people are on your side that didn't know. Because I saw that reaction online from people that were like, what the fuck is that finish? It's like, that's a legit finish. Because what happens now? Because now,
look at you, you're smiling. Look at you, you're smiling.
Because now what happens is they have a reason to put Gunther back in that spot.
Absolutely.
Now they have
he
a
was
reason
shafted.
to be like
bullshit. Cody keeps getting away with bullshit.
And that's the babyface argument. Shaft what? Referee didn't see it. There was no cheating or foul play in this. Gunther executed a technique and a tactic that is completely legal and completely viable. It's broken up pins and saved championship matches in the past. Cody, realizing in the moment that his foot was there and executing that yank right at the last minute, also smart. The referee is not out of position. The referee is positioned by the two shoulder blades where he's supposed to be to make sure the two shoulders are down for the count. It just so happens based on the angle, he didn't see the foot. It's all reasonable. That's the only reason why I'm only arguing which reaction you're looking for. I don't think they cared either way, to be honest. Because like you said, they got a little bit of both. But the majority of the people who are watching that, I think, didn't really understand the finish, which is fine because now they know. So now we have to see down the line if it's used again and in what kind of space that they figure that out. Solid match, but it is.
Yeah, later on at some point, hopefully we get another reason to talk about it. I really would like to look into Cody and his subliminal dance between heel tactics and like being a babyface. And I don't know if he's the only, obviously he's probably
He's
not the
tap
only one
dancing,
that does
for
it,
sure.
but he tap dances that motherfucker and skates right by it like he never does. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of examples that if I tried really hard, I could fucking remember. But this little gimmick like this right here, to like be aware of it and yank it, like to some people it might sound like, no, it's smart. Like he's just trying to get the win. He's noticed it, so he made the. I don't know. To me, that feels very like heelish to do something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Who else
I
is
feel
walking
like
that
this
line?
motherfucker dances that line so.
You know who else
good.
dances that line a lot? Roman. He dances that
Oh,
line
he's
pretty
giving
good.
that line back shots right now.